So here's my full story how I took a plunge in 2019, quit a job, moved to Spain, and embraced a new adventure. Now, when I look at my past, I don't think it was necessary. I had friends, I had a job that I liked, I had experiences, I had travel, and I realized one day that something is missing, like something greater is missing in my life. And it wasn't love, obviously, because if it was love, I would know, like everybody. It was something actually greater than this. It was the fear of entering my 30s without any great story to tell. I know it may seem funny for lots of people because where I come from Poland, many people are afraid to enter their 30s without being in a relationship, without having kids, much more than actually starting a new life. They like the comfort they have. And in my case, it was completely opposite. I didn't want to have family. I was much more afraid of not having great stories to tell and living just day by day. I needed something more and I wanted more, and I knew that deeply I craved something more. Everything comes back to events that I was going to. Everything started in my heart exactly right there. In Poland, every year is this festival for travelers that's called Śladami Marzeń, which translates to English in the footsteps of dreams. They had this cute logo that I loved of feet, and inside of this feet was world. So the main idea of this festival is to gather people who have the best stories and to give inspirational speech about what they did the last year and to motivate other people to do probably what they want to do, or maybe just to listen and be amazed by the decision they took. And every year while living in Poznań, I found myself in the middle sitting, and I remember being amazed by all the stories that those people had to share. They were really unbelievable stories. Some people took their decisions to do what they did because of breakups, because of lots of any other factors, that, to be honest. You know, Poznań was full of kind of events like that. You could find even pilots that told their stories about losing family because of their jobs. You never realize what's happening behind the scenes of the people that have the best stories of their life. And I found myself thinking it's like a slap in my face, because the only thing that I achieved was to exist. Like, some people left with €5 in their hands just because they really were tired of their life, and the other ones slept in parks, the other ones took a bike and they were traveling the whole border of Poland with bikes. And I felt, I want to do that too. I want to feel like I live, not like I only exist.
It feels as if I'm in an open boat, lost at sea, with no land in sight. No purpose, no meaning to my voyage. Don't you ever feel the same?
And I remember exactly the first moment in my life when I said to myself, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I need a goal and I need to achieve it. The reason I found myself in these events was because after a really tough breakup that happened in 2016, I converted myself into this extremely social person that you could find anywhere but home. I went through all the stages of breakup, which you can imagine, and finally I found myself in the escapism era, which is good, but not for a long run. And then suddenly I read something that was probably it for me. It was a quote, It was just a simple quote that I printed and I put it in my wall in the room that I rented in Poznan. And every day when I woke up, I was looking at this quote, looking for the clues. How can I change my life? And the quote was, "There's no time limit. Start whenever you want. You can change or stay the same. There are no rules to this thing. We can make the best or the worst of it. I hope you make the best of it. I hope you see things that startle you. I hope you feel things you've never felt before. I hope you meet people who have a different point of view. I hope you live a life you're proud of. And if you're not, I hope you have the courage to start over again." One day I woke up and suddenly I had this goal in my head. Like everything made sense to me. I was tired of escapism, of traveling to places and go back and live every day the same life as I was. I was looking in my head for this permanent change that could change me. And it also made sense only to me because literally no one believed that I could have a dream so crazy like that. So the first step was planning to move. I didn't really plan to move. Honestly, I only started to save money in 2018, but the final decision to move out was in February 2019. The only thing that I knew was that I have 3 months of notice, because in Poland is a rule: the longer you work for a company, the longer period of notice is for you. And obviously it's not for you, because it's for your employer to find a good replacement. And you are left with 3 months of stress looking for another job. So yeah, that was for me 3 months. And that moment I said, okay, I have 3 months. I'm going to look for a job first in Poland. If I will not find any good job that I want, I'm going to move out. All jobs that I was interviewed for were so terribly paid. You can't imagine. I couldn't believe they actually said those numbers to educated people, to people who studied, to people who have experience, talent, skills, and the eager to learn more and to actually be working. I was like, no, oh hell no, it's impossible. I thought that if I must have a bad paid job, it needs to be far away in a new place where I can learn something new, experience something new. And the end of April came. I didn't find any job that I wanted. So I found myself in the front of the computer, scrolling through Skyscanner. And I said to myself, okay, I want a cheap flight and I want a place that I've been already. So yeah, I checked Granada and I checked the other place that I was really going to consider was Verona in Italy. But that day, I really wanted to buy the ticket that day, and I said to myself, okay, the cheaper flight will win. That's how we are in Granada. I remember that I paid for a flight with 2 luggages, 32 kilos, and priority enter. I don't know how it's called, I don't remember. And I paid around only 60 euros. I know it's impossible. Now when you think about it, it's like, what? That was it before COVID, when traveling was like a free ticket to your own therapy. And that's it. I just believed this is going to happen for me. Like, I had in my head this goal, but I didn't plan what I really should do, which is not the thing that you should do. I mean, it seems reckless. But yeah, that was actually for me. So in February 2019, I decided to tell my friends, my parents, and my bosses at work that it's time for me to go. I also said goodbye to all of my friends and my parents. And I remember sitting in Poznan with all of my friends, and they were cheering for this new chapter for me. But I just felt like they didn't believe what I was talking about. And I remember sitting on the bench with my father, and I told him, like, I don't have any plan. I don't have a job. I'm not looking for it anymore. I want to go there, and I want to sit there, and I want to be able to look for it there. And he said, that's okay. You can do whatever you want with your life and just be happy with it. And I was so extremely surprised that my parents were so open to the idea that I was going to be jobless for I don't know how long. It was okay. And I'm so grateful for their words, because if not, probably I would be much more stressful that I can't find anything. But finally, I'm so grateful for this. I think I had some kind of belief that everything's gonna work out itself. The universe will bring me things for me if I really wanted it, if I was imagining it in my head that I already have it. So this is what I exactly did. To be honest, the only one thing that I really took care of before moving into another country was accommodation. I didn't think about the other things that was waiting for me. I had no idea how many papers you have to translate, how many documents you have to go for, how many hours you will spend in the international offices, and how many times you will be lost. And there is also this language barrier and the residency and many other things that can lead to culture shock that we've never prepared for. But yeah, I was kind of wishing it, so yeah, the challenge accepted. I know I wanted just to work and let a lot in, so the embracing the unknown was probably the hardest part in all of it. But once I settled in and I had kind of all figured it out, which I thought I have, but I didn't, was the next step, the professional pursuit. So I will not lie. We are in Granada, a place full of friends, so the first thing they are looking for is a friend that will work for them. Since I moved in, I was every day walking with my curriculum from place to place to give them my curriculum, to tell them a little about myself, which was not in Spanish because I couldn't speak Spanish, and I didn't have any documents that they were asking for, so they couldn't even help me, even if they wanted to. And I didn't have even the green card yet. Yeah, I know you may judge me right now, like, how could you actually go to another country without being prepared? But this is exactly what I wanted. Like, I really needed my head to be in this new thing, a new challenge, and I loved it. I really loved it. It seems really weird, but I really loved the challenge. But one day, a month after I settled in Granada, I received a call for an interview. And it wasn't actually in Granada. I had to go to another city, like 60 kilometers from Granada. And I said, hell yeah, anything. I just want to experience new interviews. I need to be prepared for something, and I don't know how they work here. So I will just go to that interview, and I will see what happened. I went there, and I didn't get it. But I had one interview in my curriculum in my head, and I was going to be prepared for the next ones. I knew already what to expect. So when I didn't get it, every day I came back to my routine of looking for a job. But then I thought, okay, my savings are finishing. I need a plan B. So I started to think about my plan B, which was, I don't remember what it's called now, but it was some kind of like you work for someone and in return they give you accommodation and food, everything, so you can stay or you can just move in from place to place, and basically you don't need to come back to your country, which I was desperately not going to do. I didn't want to feel like a failure, not to people but to myself, because I set myself a goal, a huge goal, and I promised myself that I will do anything to make it happen. I thought that it was the worst thing that can happen to you when you know you didn't achieve what you thought you could achieve. The failure in my head could be much worse than I imagined, and I really didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep going on, without stopping. So that was my plan B. On my birthday, 2 months after settling in, I received a call from that company that I was interviewed 60 kilometers from Granada, and they invited me for the second interview. Long story short, I got the job that I was wishing for, and I think it could go many different directions if I hadn't met the right person at the right time. And that was all thanks to my boss who believed that there is something in me that they needed, and I'm so grateful for that. Basically, they didn't want to hire me because I didn't speak Spanish, but my boss had this kind of approach that anybody can learn language, right? People need help, and I was so shocked by it, and I was so happy because of that. I could learn Spanish and I could work and be challenged every day. But I had another problem because I didn't have the documents they were asking me for. They were willing to wait until I actually get those documents. But I also said to my landlord that I'm going to move out, and I had 3 days to figure this all out. It was impossible, to be honest. I have no idea how I managed this because I was living with a person, with a Polish person who tried to kick me out from that flat, and he succeeded. I had nowhere to go. I didn't have almost money on my account, and I had to take care of all of my documents. But I had a friend who I lived with before, and he managed to help me with everything that I needed because I couldn't speak Spanish, and he could speak English. Maybe if you would like to hear more about this kind of adventure, because what happened in between getting the job was kind of messy, and for sure I have all written in my diaries. Till today I am really shocked about what happened, and it was really huge miracle of all the events that happened at the right time, at the right moment, and I truly believe I was lucky. So when I think about those times when everything was out of control, uncomfortable, I didn't have a place to sleep, I was almost out of money, surprisingly, I think it was the best time of my life. Moving to Spain was the best decision that I've made in my entire life existence. Leaving behind the comfort and home was undoubtedly a leap of faith. I was looking for a word for feelings that I felt after a breakup. Like I was excited that I'm going into something new, but at the same time, I was so afraid I'm alone and I have no idea what to do with it. I know Swedes have a word for it, is Resfber, and I loved it so much and I loved the feeling, and I said, okay, I'm going to tattoo it because I want to remember how I felt and how alive you can be even at your worst time. It just reminds me of the times when I was miserable, but at the same time I wanted to figure out my new life and how great it felt. I know it seems ridiculous, but sometimes the bad things that happen in your life may be the best things that happen to you. Would I do it again? Would I move to another country? I don't know. I tell to myself that I don't think so, but yet my soul is reaching for a new start again, like something is missing, and I know traveling will not fix this. I know life is not so easy as it was before, when traveling was much easier and cheaper. But if you set a goal in your mind, I guess everything can happen. And even if you fail, maybe there is a reason for that, and maybe there is something better waiting for you outside of this corner, like you will never know. But I know that because of COVID, we lost some of the best free recipes for happiness and cheaper therapy. And I know escapism is not the answer, but it doesn't mean it's not a part of the process of managing what we feel. I hope this story helps you, or maybe answers your questions or doubts. And if you're contemplating a similar leap, I encourage you to consider the possibilities that await beyond your comfort zone and embrace change, chase your dreams, and enjoy the journey. It may lead you to unexpected, but yet rewarding destinations. Even if things won't work out and you will be on the other path, at least you tried. So thank you for listening, and I hope I helped you a little and encourage you to change something in your life. And if it's a small change, it will be still noticeable in your life experience. And see you in the next one.